quite the fairy tale ending, but pretty darn close.
Well, look, I've always said sometimes fairy tales come true. Tonight it wasn't that way. But look, I'm really proud of the guys. I was particularly pleased the way that we fought back with the ball. I think we were, in all seriousness, probably 20 runs short with the bat. And then in occasions with the ball, we probably didn't bowl the best we could. However, to fight back and to get close at the end there, the last 3 overs, was a fantastic effort.
Come on, get close. You got 2 wickets in the last over. You must have been pumped.
Well, I haven't told no one this yet, but I said the last ball of my career, I'll rip my hammy off the bone. I reckon I've done it. I don't reckon I would have been able to bowl a super over because I've tweaked my hammy. I've never done a hamstring in my life. So 21 years, last ball, I think I've tweaked my hammy. So.
But it isn't the last ball, really, is it? You're going to play the Champions League. Come on.
Absolutely not. Somebody asked me in the crowd, they said, what's your chance of playing again? I said, I'm Harvey Norman, no interest.
But I know Moses is trying to persuade you, isn't he, for the Champions League?
He's been trying all the last 6 or 7 weeks, if we obviously made it. I said, more than happy to come over as a assistant bowling coach or to help out carry the bags. But I said, no, look, I've had my day in the sun. Like, in all seriousness, there comes a time where you have to walk away from the game. I'm really proud of the way that we went tonight. I'm really proud of the way that I went tonight and the last 7 weeks. Some days, some days you win and some days you don't. But really happy to go out on this way. And it would have been nice to get that last wicket, but that happens.
What was going through your mind before that last ball? What were you looking to achieve?
I just wanted to sort of run in. It's almost when you get down to that sort of situation, you can't hear the crowd. You look at the ball, there's a little bit of tail at the end, which suits me, and I love bowling at the death when, there's a little bit of swing happening, reverse swing that is. And I've been in that situation a million times. I love that situation. So I just sort of visualise over the last 20 years. It's almost amazing how when I turned and I sort of had my own little moment over there and I closed my eyes for a second and I could see the wickets I'd taken. I could see the ball swinging in, see the bottom of the stump explode, seeing the stump go to Gilly or to Hads or whoever it might be. So that's what I try to sort of do. I try to actually visualise where the ball's going to go, and came out pretty well. I thought I had it, and then he got a little bit of bat on it, and then the rest is history. But I'm all smiles. I'm happy. That's the way it goes.
When you started off, you used to take 2 and 2 balls every second game. Just seemed to be your, what you did because of that pace and fast Yorkers and all that sort of thing. You used to terrify blokes' toes. And then you finished off that way. I mean, is that a nice way to go to sort of almost turn full circle just in that little tiny snippet of the way the game is?
Yeah, look, it is. As I said, I was really happy with the way I bowled tonight. A couple of different sort of circumstances there. We might have had a few extra runs if I guess we're all switched on what was happening. But at the end of the day, look, I sort of worked very hard on the nets yesterday. I sort of put a couple of bottles down and try to hit those bottles as I did, 15, 20 years ago. So I want to make sure I closed out and did the preparation in the net. So when I walk in this field tonight, I've left nothing in the tank, and I've really left nothing in the tank my whole career. That's what I'm proud about. I'm not proud about, wickets or runs. It's about to be able to play 21 years flat out, always giving 100%. And the game of sport and cricket in general is that some days you win and some days you lose. And it wasn't our time tonight, and that's cool. I'm more than happy with that, but I'm really happy with what's happened over the last 6 or 7 weeks.
But you couldn't feel like it was a loss tonight, personally, getting those 3 wickets. And also the way that you've been able to keep bowling until you're 38, you've got to feel happy with yourself.
It's bittersweet, and that's probably the best way to sort of sum it up. It's I don't know, like it's probably the most I've ever smiled after a loss, and certainly when you lose a major game, we've had fantastic crowds around the whole summer. We had 37,000 people at the SCG, 53 at Adelaide. So we've had great crowds, great people watching, and to come down the last ball, just to fall one run short, but to walk off and think that I'm really happy. It's been a career that I'm really proud about, and to think that at 38 I'm still running and trying to bowl fast.
And how important was it that your son got to see that tonight as well? He's at that age where he can remember.
Well, to me, that's what life's about. It's great that he's had the chance to see the last 7 weeks, and he's been to most of the games. He loves cricket. He plays cricket himself, and to see him come out, especially at the Sydney Cricket Ground when he ran out, and I see him sprint out, he had a little tag around him, his little pass, and he got out there and he's hugged me, and nothing else matters in the world. doesn't matter if you get 5 wickets or 100 runs. Not that they've ever got 100, but or get the perfect sort of run out. It matters about your family, and I'm really proud and really pleased that he could sort of watch that, and it was great to see him here again tonight.
What are you going to do about that hammy?
Ice from the inside, I've been told.
Good.
I won't be putting any ice on it. I won't be stretching it. I won't be getting any scans. I'll be icing from the inside.
You're not really 38, are you? You look about 26.
Mate, I'm not Benjamin Button, you know. Look, the thing I'm most proud about it is, like you've got to go flat out, and I know that. You see a lot of players and they have a few injuries and stuff, and they try and come back, and it just depends on your body makeup. I think I've been really blessed, I guess, that my body's been able to take the pressure I've put it through. I've obviously worked really hard on my fitness and body, and it's paid me back at the end. Couldn't ask any more for my body. Yes, I've had my fair share of injuries. I missed a lot of cricket, but if you asked me when I was 16 with Patrick Farhat, who ironically was my physio right from the start and is now, what's that, 22 years ago? If you asked me, would I be bowling at 38? I would have almost laughed at you. I wouldn't have been bowling at 20. So, I'm happy, I'm proud, and it's a close of stage 1 and open up stage 2.
It was an emotional end tonight. Did you think back 4 years ago when you started playing in the pink? Do you think that it could mean this much?
Well, it almost goes back to 2006 when 2020 first came on the scene. We toured New Zealand. It was a hit and giggle. Guys come out. I think it was the twins, those brothers that came out, and they had all this sort of the hair all sort of puffed up, and it was a bit of a hit and giggle thing. Over the years, through Indian Premier League and through different tournaments around the world, it's become a really tough tournament. And to think now that you can see how much it means to the guys. This is top cricket. This is amazing first class cricket, and the players that have really thrived on playing 2020 cricket, and then gone on further to play other sort of formats of the game. You think of David Warner was classed as a 2020 cricketer. Now he's one of the best batsmen in the world in Test cricket and also one-day cricket. So it's a great breeding ground for people. But Cricket Australia have done it beautifully. As I said, with the crowds we've had, the way it's been covered, and you can tell by how much emotion's out there. It's been awesome. I've really enjoyed the last 4 years of it.
Kevin Peterson mentioned one of the things he found so positive about the Big Bash League was that young guys get to play with their heroes and these Test legends. Is that something you've sort of enjoyed as well, being able to pass on your knowledge and your game to these young guys coming through?
Yeah, definitely 100%. But also too, I've actually enjoyed playing with these young guys coming through. Whether they've enjoyed playing with me, I hope they have. Hopefully, I've put like a little bit back into the team. I sort of hopefully passed on my knowledge. I really try and help the young guys coming through with their bowling. But I'm still learning. I'm learning every single day about bowling. I'm learning off Sean Abbott, who's had a brilliant season. Dougie Bollinger's still bowling wheels. Moses Enriquez, I think his captaincy's been perfect and it's been outstanding. So I'm learning off these guys, and you have to learn right to the end. And I think that if you put yourself out there going that you're the perfect bowler and you know it all, then you're not going to last long in this game. So you try to put back in, you try to make sure that you help young guys coming through. And also, too, you have to know when to walk away. I could have easily played another 2 or 3 years. I know that I could have with my body, but I just didn't want to. And I want to make sure that some young kid coming through, I'm not 38, 39 taking some young kid's spot, who he's got dreams and aspirations one day to go and play for New South Wales or play for Australia. I don't want to be in his way. So it's time for me to move aside, and time for me to sit up there and have a nice cold beer and watch these young guys steam in.
Do you think, just one last, sorry Brett, do you think we'll see the Big Bash final here in Canberra again?
I don't know. Look, the only downside with playing here is sort of crowd. I know that can only hold like 12,500 people. Beautiful venue, great wicket. It's probably the flattest wicket in Australia. It's great to bat on. It's probably not the best to bowl on, but that goes sort of hand in hand with most decent wickets around Australia. It would have been great to play at a great venue in terms of like a big known venue like a Melbourne Cricket Ground or SCG. I think in future it probably will be, but unfortunately with the World Cup, with the scheduling, that it just wasn't able. So I've got no ill feelings about playing here. Whether I play my last game here, the final here or Adelaide Oval. I've been lucky enough to sort of tick off every major ground, this summer, other than Perth. So look, it is what it is. It's just, I think, just sort of scheduling, and nothing really else could be done with it.
Also, it's cold.
I love it cold, mate. I sort of hate bowling in the heat. So as you can tell, mate, I hate wearing a jumper, and give me the cold every day.